Good afternoon. It is November 5th, 2016. Heading out to a choir anniversary in just a few. Just wanted to share a little information with you, a little encouragement through the word. If you haven't seen my first video, I am pretty much an openly gay minister. God called me to minister in 2013. So having said that, I'm going to do what I'm supposed to do. I've just been sitting here thinking about this, the church. I was reading in John chapter 4, and Jesus met a woman in Samaria in a small town called Sychar, which is ancient day land where Jacob built a well. And Jacob, for those of you who don't know, he was a descendant of Isaac, which was his father. Isaac was the descendant of Abraham, who is considered the father of all nations. So anyway, Jesus was baptizing people. Well, he wasn't actually baptizing himself. The disciples were helping him by baptizing people as they were proclaiming to be Christians. And also John the Baptist was baptizing, and the Pharisees, which are considered the religious sect of Christianity or Judaism, they were comparing who was saving the most people or baptizing the most people, Jesus or John. So Jesus said, I'm done with that. I don't have time for this. So he went to Samaria, and he met this woman at a well, and she was drawing water, and he began to tell her things about herself that she had never, but that no one would know, basically. Some stranger that just comes up to you, tells you, that you are, you've been sleeping around with different men, and the man that you're with now is not your husband. But at the same time, he offers her salvation. He said, if you take the water that I give, you will never thirst again. So she takes the water, basically by receiving him. And she goes and tells her friends and everybody she meets, come and see a man that told me everything about myself. And I think before that, let me go back a little bit. So her and Jesus go into this dialogue, and Jesus tells her or asks her about the resurrection. Is she familiar with it? And she was like, yes, my people worship here, and you're saying, Jesus was telling her to worship where they were, and she was saying basically, hold on, I'm wrong, let me get it right. Jesus was basically explaining to her about salvation, to make a long story short. She was kind of caught up in where to worship, because she was saying the place that they were in was the place where the fathers worshiped, which was Jacob and Abraham, and those are the people who were the pioneers or the patriarchs of the Jewish faith. Jesus was saying in Jerusalem, people will worship me. And she kind of gets confused about where to worship him, and he makes it clear by saying, God is a spirit, and there will be a time when we won't worship in either one of these places. People will worship in other places. And he kind of breaks it all down and says, God is a spirit, and they that worship him must worship him in spirit and in truth. Let me take my glasses off, because I feel like I'm hiding something, Okay, that better? Cool. So, I don't like to see people wearing shades talking to me, I feel y'all. Okay. So, basically he tells her, God is a spirit, and we must worship him in spirit and in truth. Now that kind of resonated with me, that last verse, because I look at the church now and I see so many people that are living lies. I remember a quote from Frederick Douglass that said, I'd rather be hated for the truth than to be basically hating myself because I'm living a lie. Kurt Cobain has been credited to say something similar to that I'd rather be hated for the truth than to be loved for something I'm not. So I see that a lot in the church, and it really is discouraging to see that type of behavior. And it's not even about people's sexuality. Of course we know people in the church are gay. We know that people are sleeping around in the church. But just the whole drill of trying to put on an image for somebody that really doesn't care anything about you. So it's just lies, big lies, girl, lies. So I'm just frustrated with that, and I want to encourage everybody: be yourself, be you. God made you. He took all the time in the world to create you. When you look at the things that are going on with sicknesses, abortions, and all the other things that could have kept you out of this earth, God saw fit to bring you here. And so I just want people to kind of focus on their purpose and worship God. Don't worry about, man, because God's not a man, he's a spirit. And that kind of also told me that, it's not really about male and female, because we're all made in God's image. So I say that to say, also want to plug in my vote for Hillary Clinton. I did my voting weeks ago. Those of you who are still debating on whether or not you should vote for her, just think about what the alternative is. I mean, if you can honestly say that you can vote for a man who has pretty much insulted everything that's contrary to what he believes is great. That includes Hispanics, that includes Muslims, that includes African Americans, that includes women, that includes pretty much everybody in the United States, other than those who don't, that don't care and they agree with him. So that's the only thing I can say. If you're for him, you're against me, because I already know he's against me. So for one, I'm gay. For two, I'm black. So in a nutshell, I'm not voting for him. So I just wanted to share this with you. This is my car. I think I'm going to name this Optima Confessions, to just give a catchy phrase to it. All right. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like it, send me some comments. Let me know. Or am I wasting my time? Peace.